What's up, everybody? Hope you're doing well. Like I said, 2 videos a week, so here we are. This video, we're gonna be talking about how you can make your hair system last really 5 to 6 months, if not more time. So this is something that over the past really like 6 months, I've been focusing on because guess what? I had a major drop in the income in my life. So extending the lifespan of my hair systems that I had became a main priority. And I really needed to test things out to just make sure that I could do it as something that was affordable. Because guess what? Hair systems aren't the cheapest thing in the world. And we need to be able to find ways to make them last if that's our current situation. If you can get a new one every 1 to 2 months, all good. If you can't, still all good. So in this video, we're going to be going over 4 different elements. Why am I using like a German style 4? We're going to be going over 4 elements of how to protect your hair system to make it last for a long time. These are just going to be my findings. If you guys have some suggestions yourself, put them down in the comments below. You can use this as kind of a living document. So item number 1, we're going to talk about color. Number 2, we're going to talk about protecting the base of your unit. Number 3, we're going to talk about hair lossage. And then 4, we're going to be talking about ultimately the hair texture, how it feels, making sure it doesn't become essentially straw, So number 1, we're going to talk about color. Now, as you wear a hair system, you're going to experience that the color in it changes, it lightens up. It also will potentially get brassy. So this is something that you've got to be prepared for. So with that being said, right, I really recommend that you get some high quality hair color. Now, I have gone and done research in terms of my specific hair color, how to get the right color, how to manage it. And with that being said, I use Matrix So Color Sync. That is a high quality product. And I essentially get my color in their dye, and then I readjust that I basically re-dye my hair system every 2 months now, and I pick up the frequency after that. If the color starts to really fade, I might do it a little bit more. So this is right after I just did it maybe a week ago, so that way this color is a little bit fresher. It was starting to get a little bit light. The other thing that I do on a fairly consistent basis is I use blue shampoo. I've talked about it quite a bit on this channel, but blue shampoo is going to eliminate those brassy tones inside of your hair, which is going to make it look, if you have brassy hair, that's okay, right? But for me, I have ashy hair, meaning that there isn't as much red inside of it, except for my beard. So using blue shampoo kind of remediates some of that brassiness coming out, which comes from oxidation, comes from being in the sun. So I use blue shampoo at least on a weekly basis, color as needed, but it gets a little bit more frequent towards the end of the lifespan of the hair system. But also keep in mind when you are coloring your hair, it is harsh on the hair. So make sure that you're conditioning it. We'll talk about that in texture. Next up, let's talk briefly about the base protection. Now, there's no secret, right? If your base rips, that's kind of not good for the lifespan of your hair system. If it's a small rip, not such a big deal, but if it's a larger one, if it's right up front, if it kind of takes away the integrity of the hair system, not good for you. So we need to learn to protect the base integrity, right? And for me, there's a couple lessons that I've learned, because guess what? I've actually ripped a hair system recently. So basically, here's the things that I've learned over the past couple months, right? When you have a thinner base, it's more likely to rip. That's just common knowledge, right? But you can still get a lot of lifespan out of the thinnest thin skin units. Now, when it comes to taking your product off, I really only use tape these days. It is way easier personally for me to use, for me to apply myself, all that kind of fun stuff. With that being said, be very slow when you're taking off the tape. I also highly recommend that when you're taking tape off the bottom of your hair system, to run it under hot water. That will, if you can start peeling the tape and get hot water underneath it, it will start to break the bond with the tape and the hair system. It's kind of like sweating, right? When we sweat, it kind of gets a little bit sloshy, it moves around a little bit potentially. Same thing. If you can get hot water underneath the tape, comes off super easy. Here's the second caveat to that though. I recommend you changing the tape on your hair system more often. So I've gone down more so to like every 7 days. And the reason for that is not because I can't go longer, but it's because as the tape is on the hair system longer, it's exposed to more, cooling and heating cycles with exercise. Tape starts to break down. When tape starts to break down, you got to do a lot more picking at it. You got to, do a lot more work to get it off. When your tape is still intact because it hasn't gone through all these heat and cool cycles, you'll find that it can be a little bit harder to peel off, so go very slow. But with water, hot water, it'll start to just come right off. So that's kind of my protocol now for protecting my base. But go very, very slowly, slower than you think you have to. If you go slow and steady, it should only take you max maybe 3 minutes, 4 minutes to get all the tape off of your hair system. Trust me, it's well worth it. If you rip your hair system, it's never a good time. Now, let's move into hair lossage, or basically thinning of your hair system. Because guess what? Your hair is not going to grow back from the hair system. So this is a really important thing for you to get on lock. So with that being said, here's my thoughts, right? A lot of hair lossage happens actually in the back of the hair system, towards the crown of your head. And that's actually because of sleep, right? If you're not using a silk pillowcase, you got to get one, because there's so much friction that happens when you're sleeping. If you are someone that sleeps on their back, on the side of your head, rolls around, right? All of that stuff, it's a lot of tension on the hair. It can also mat, it can also get tangled, but I found that right there is one of the biggest predictors of your hair system longevity kind of going out the window. Second is how you're taking care of your hair system by styling it. You can lose a lot of hair by the way that you style your hair system. So I'm a big fan of being very, very gentle, because I don't want to decrease the lifespan of my hair system. So I'll get out of the shower, I'll pat down my hair to dry it. Then I'll take a brush, like a Tangle Teezer, we've talked about them on the channel, and I'll comb my hair just to make sure I'll get out any of the knots gently. And then I'll just kind of like let it sit. After that, I take a hair dryer and I will just use cool air, not hot air, cool air. And I'll blow it through my hair, kind of give it a little bit of volume, and then give it some argan oil and let it sit. As it starts to get to a point where it's really dry, or it's finally near its style, then I might do some slight modification to the style, add a little bit more oil, something like that. But I've been keeping it very simple, right? That argan oil also protects these hair fibers, not hair fibers, but it protects the hair strands, and therefore kind of supports that. Now that also kind of leads into our fourth point, which is texture, right? So we want to maintain our hair to have a decent texture. We don't want it to feel like straw, like it's super dry, all this kind of stuff. So I actually don't, I can't remember the last time I've shampooed my hair system. What I do is I only use conditioner. What I do with the conditioner is I actually use it every single time I wash my hair. So I probably wash my hair every 3 to 4 days. And with that, I'll condition it. I'll deep condition it for about 5 minutes. Use warm water, not any hot water. Let it run through, and then I'll style my hair. And that's how often approximately I style my hair system as well, every 3 to 4 days. Other than that, it doesn't really seem to need much maintenance. With this type of style, it's pretty low effort, pretty low maintenance, which is kind of why I've kept it. Kind of staying away from the longer looks, so it makes it a lot easier to manage than some of my previous styles. And I think it looks pretty natural. There will always be haters in the comments that says something stupid about how it looks, but I really think it's a great look. It's pretty standard, it's not flashy, it's not crazy, but I look like a normal human being. So this is a little bit about what I've been doing to make my hair systems last over 5 to 6 months, and it's actually worked. Multiple times I've seen my last hair system I made last 6 months. This one is going on, I think, about 2.5 months. So it's doing pretty good. It's looking pretty good. I actually think that hair systems look their best about 3 months in. When you start to lose some of the hair, there's a little bit more natural diffusion in the front hairline. The bounce goes away that when you first get a hair system is there. So this is just how I feel. If you guys got some comments, if you got some suggestions, leave them in the comments below for everybody. Guys, so good to be back. I'll see you soon.